Very good evening. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We'll be continuing Chapter 7, the Yoga of Jnana, knowledge of Nirguna Brahma and Vijnana, knowledge of manifest divinity, and we will be learning about condemnation of men who are ignorant of the glory and true nature of God and approbation of those who know them. So let us continue from where we stop, chapter 7, verse 25. Veiled by my Yogamaya, my divine potency, I am not manifest to all. Hence, these ignorant folk fail to recognize me, the birthless and imperishable supreme deity, that is, consider me as subject to birth and death. In the last satsang also, Lord Shri Krishna was still talking about how the ignorant people fail to recognize him and how they don't have the grace to understand or know him. Forget about understanding. Even to, just experience that divinity is not possible, because first you need to have the goodness, the purity of your heart, the purity of your mind, and you must have surrendered to the lotus feet of the Divine Lord and the Guru. Now, if you do not do so, then you can't recognize him. Most important, what happens is we look at him as an ordinary human being. You might be sitting and talking to Lord Shri Krishna himself, who was manifested in a body, who was manifested in a form. But you will think, I am talking to some ordinary human being. That is what happens. Your mind is constantly going to make you only see that Maya. You're not going to see him beyond that, this physical form. That's the body. And we all have an issue with us. What is that issue? We always believe that divine being or a guru, a sage or a saint, they must, dress in a certain manner. Like they have to wear an orca clothes, or they have to, adorn with some marks. Like if you see some of the saints, they will have this tripundra, like the vibhuti, the sacred ash. They would have, there's a mark that they, have on their forehead. Or if you look at some of the Vaishnavites, they have this long, we call it Namam in Tamil, but it's also the mark of Vaishnavite. For the real divine beings, it itself manifests. You don't even have to put a chandan. But some of these great souls, they, put themselves the chandan and they have this, attire. They have a persona that they create. In the physical form, they wear a certain garb, they look in a certain form. So, you tend to think or believe that is who they are. That is how you can recognize a guru, a sage or a saint or a divine being for that matter. But if Lord Shri Krishna comes in a very normal form, like any of us, without having any of this attire, the costumes that, I'm just giving a word called costume because that's what you dress. It's establishing of, your identity. So you are establishing an identity. So we all recognize that divine being in the way they are dressed. So example, Adi Shankaracharya. So he used to have a stick. He had, he would wear an ochre, a garment. It's a dhoti, and he would, cover his head. So and always sit with a stick. So there is a representation. So we think that is how we will recognize a divine being. But it's a day and age where we are in the world of technological advancement. Everything is, today in the virtual space, we are so advanced in the way we live, work, communicate and do things. So do you think Lord Shri Krishna today will manifest in any of those forms, like how Sai Baba was? He was wearing a kafni. So how do we identify Sai Baba? Sai Baba would dress in a kafni. Or we identified Ramakrishna Paramahamsa ji would just wear a simple dhoti, and when sit, not wearing anything on his, as a shirt or any t-shirt or anything on the upper torso. So he's not wearing any of those. Now you take the case of any other divine beings, they all were dressed in a very simple way. What was, available at that moment in time, or what their gurus had told them to wear. But Lord Shri Krishna is not an ascetic, he's not a sage, he's not a saint, he's not any of those. He's the master of this universe, and he's not going to be dressed and like any of these people, because that is not who he is. But he's going to come that based on what is suitable at that moment in time. So if you take in the age of Krishna avatar, when he had come as the Purna avatar of Shri Krishna, when he had manifested in that form, he was a king. So obviously he's going to be dressed in the kingly form. Or if he had come in Sri Ram's avatar, he still was dressed like a king. But when he went to Vanvas, he had to wear the orange robe and all those things. But that is the way for human minds to understand. Today we are in a 21st century. Everything is, advanced. Everything, we are living in a world of Maya, which is glitz, glamour, everything is sophistication, all those things. Today there is no forest for us to go and live what Sri Ram did, or Sri Krishna even at those times were living a life. But even like example, Sri Krishna didn't go to forest, or he doesn't have to do any of those. He can wear the best of the garment, yet it doesn't affect him, because he's the highest detached being. He's a perfect celibate. So we can't compare him to any of us. So today, the way he can appeal to anybody is in the normal way. How, you just have to wear a jeans and a t-shirt, because that's how he's going to represent. Why? Because today he's not catering to some old people who are going to go into sannyas ashrama, all that. No, there is nobody who's capable of that. He's here to impart knowledge. He's here to enable you. He's here to, empower you, so that you can become a little bit the better version of who you are today. So how do you live in this Kali Yuga? Despite how the world lives, it should not affect us. How do we make a difference to ourselves? And when we make a difference to ourselves, then we make a difference to this world. So this is exactly what he's what he's doing now. Now he manifests as an ordinary human being. You look at him as an ordinary human being because he's just wearing a t-shirt and a jeans pant. Do you accept that he's Lord Shri Krishna? No, because our mind is already has the preconceived notion that Lord Shri Krishna means he will have a blue body. He appears blue. He's going to have a flute. He's going to have a peacock feather. You name it. So we have certain ways how we have defined. But who has defined this? That has been defined by the mind alone. Somebody visualized him in that form. But is that the real form? No, you don't know, because you have not experienced him. Why? Because you are ignorant. You have never made an effort to understand or learn God. You're not seeking God. See, in this chapter, Lord Shri Krishna, taught a very beautiful thing. What is that? I'm just going to go over it once again, so that it's just like a reminder. Then you understand what is the 4 kind of devotees he's describing. He says there are 4 types of devotees of noble deeds who worship me, Arjuna. The seeker after worldly possessions. So one sort of a devotees who only interested in worldly possessions, who come and seek Lord Shri Krishna. The afflicted, people who are suffering with sickness. The seeker for knowledge. There are some people, I want to get knowledge, I want to become educated, I want to do something in my world, but they are not seeking the spiritual knowledge. The knowledge is, the K is small k. And the man of wisdom. The man of wisdom is the one who seeks for the highest, that is the truth. He wants to attain God realization or self-realization. And so Lord Shri Krishna says, indeed all these are noble, but the man of wisdom is me very self, is my very self. Is me alone, which means it's my very self. So in the man of wisdom who's seeking for the truth, He is my very self, which means that being is none other than me alone. He's my very self. He's a part of me. So what does he say? And he's saying, for such a devotee who has his mind and intellect merged in me, is firmly established in me alone as the highest goal. And what happens for him? I am extremely dear to the wise man who knows me in reality, and he's extremely dear to me. So likewise, so both of them are dear to each other. But what happens to the other people in the world? They can't recognize Lord Shri Krishna. They think he's some ordinary human being. This happens to my Guruji. Let me tell you, my Guruji is an Amsh. He's a manifestation of Lord Shri Krishna. Krishna, Guruji has not come just like that. He's a manifestation. But when other people look at him, they think him as an ordinary human being. That's exactly what he's talking about here. How everybody's veiled by the Yoga Maya. If you're not a devotee of the Lord, if you don't have the divine propensities within you, you will definitely not understand him. He's never going to give you the grace for you to recognize him or know him in reality. It's never going to happen. Because Lord Shri Krishna said, there are 4 types of devotees and who come to him. And only one knows him in reality, that is the man of wisdom. See, we, the divine beings, also have to take birth or form, or they have to manifest to serve the purpose in this world. So, they will also have to appear as a human form in front of all of the rest of the world. But what the world doesn't seem to understand is that they are not actually human beings. They are divine beings who have manifested so that they can serve the purpose of the divine master, that is supreme divine consciousness. Like in Christianity, we say Father in heaven, who's the highest. Likewise, in our world, we say supreme personality of Godhead, who is none other than the supreme divine consciousness. So he is the highest. So we are here to serve his purpose. So an essence, an amsh of him is manifesting so that he establishes righteousness in the world. That's what he comes to, and imparts this knowledge, the most esoteric knowledge. And nobody can understand without him giving that grace on those beings. But my Guruji will always say something very beautiful. I am not going to give my grace for anyone to know me. They are always going to be veiled by the power of my Yoga Maya. You know what? When you look at my Guruji, all you can see is a human being. How can he be a guru? Because he's dressed with jeans pant and a t-shirt. That's the first thing that hits a person, because he doesn't have an attire. So what happens? Already it is a Maya. That's a Maya. Because my Guruji doesn't want to be bound. Today, if you take example of any of these celebrity gurus or other people, they cannot go out in public in a normal way. Everybody will come and surround them. But a divine master like my Guruji, who's not known in the world, he's always incognito in the human form, can roam around freely. That is why they're Avaduta, ever free. Lord Dattatreya is an Avaduta. He's ever roaming. But can you even recognize him even when he appears in front of you? No, you can't. Because you think he has to come in a certain way. He has to be dressed. He can manifest in anything. He can manifest in a dog, in a crow, in a cow. He can take any form and come. But do you have the eyes to see that? Way back in time, my Guruji taught me a very beautiful prayer. And that was when I just stepped into spirituality. He told me one very important lesson. He said, pray that, what did he say? He said, you must pray and seek the grace of the God to recognize him when he appears. And this is a prayer I have done for many years. And today, it's so obvious, no matter where I go, there is that grace where I will be able to experience them in whatever form that they come. And that's the most beautiful, because I know that I will see it. That's the devotion, that's the love, that's the faith, that absolute conviction that yes, my Lord can come in any form. That conviction will make you experience. I'll tell you, recently we went to Narsoba Chavadi, where Narsimha Saraswati did tapascharya under the Audumbar tree for more than 12 years, incognito. And there is where the yogini ganas, the yoginis, served the divine master. Even today, when we go to that place where that Amrisha's, the place where the yoginis are there, the 64 yogini exist. When we go there, that's a place of a devotee of Narasimha Saraswati. I've already given the story, and also you can read about this in Guru Charitra. So when we go there, even today, there is the yoginis who come there, who are based over there, and few people come in that form, but nobody recognizes them. So when we went this time along with my Guruji, we were sitting there in the temple where they were doing the prayers. So we were watching the prayers. There was this beautiful yogini who was sitting over there. She spoke to us, and before she left the place, she touched my Guruji's feet. She recognizes him, and she said, "Thank you so much for the grace." We offered her something, she accepted it. She was glowing. There's so much, she's so beautiful. You can recognize the divine being just by the sight. That is called grace. And without grace, I could have only seen an ordinary human being who looked nice, who just, came and touched my Guruji's feet, took his blessings and went. But when you have the grace, you will be able to see through that, beyond that human form. And that human form, what they project, is called Maya. And then finally we just met her, and she asked me a few questions, and before she left, she gave the most beautiful smile, and she just saw, and it just touched her and took her blessings. That is real divine beings. They are always incognito. You can't recognize them, but when you have their grace is only when you can see them. So seek the grace of the God to be able to recognize him when he appears, when he manifests, when he comes in any form. And until you don't seek for this grace, you can't know him. So this is what happens to the ignorant being. So that is what Lord Shri Krishna is explaining here. Let me read through once again. Veiled by my yoga maya, my divine potency, I am not manifest to all. Underline this word. I am not manifest to all. Hence, these ignorant folk fail to recognize me, the birthless and imperishable supreme deity. He is birthless. There is no birth nor death for the divine Lord. He is eternal. He is ancient. He is the supreme deity. The supreme is capital S, the highest. And deity is also the highest. He is the God of all gods. That is, consider me as subject to birth and death. So people think, oh, he's born as an ordinary human being and he dies. He doesn't die. He just leaves that body, but he's always there. He's an eternal. Everything is, happens under his substratum alone. He's the cause from which this whole universe has come into existence, and we question him. And you know what? There are many people who visit my Guruji. So that is exactly what I was telling. Very few, very, very, very few recognize him. Well, because they are the highest of the devotees. Their bhakti is intense. They revere him. They know that he's the divine master. They don't talk nonsense to him. They don't try to defend. They don't try to reason out. They have that absolute faith. But there are other devotees who are just coming because they want something. Material worldly possessions. They have afflictions. That is why they come to him, or they want knowledge. These are the three main criteria why they come to my Guruji. There is a want, there's a desire, there's a ask. But they always believe my Guruji is not somebody who he is. And then they get confused. So they have a problem to even acknowledge him in the public. They feel it's below their dignity to call him, oh yeah, he's my Krishna Guruji. They think it's something bad in the material world to represent. That's very sad. I feel really hurt at the time when I witnessed this. And they don't understand what happens. See, my Guruji is ever compassionate. He's kind, he's benevolent, he's forgiving, he's loving. But his universe is watching, and she's listening, and she is, seeing everything that is going on. One wrong thing against the master, she will, make you eat the same medicine. She will make you eat the same medicine. It's going to be very bitter at that time. So don't challenge my Guruji, don't try to defend, and don't come and talk dime a dozen nonsense to him. You need to come with absolute faith and with an open mind to learn, with having that Shraddha and Bhakti. which is first is the faith, and that then the bhakti, which is devotion. Just have that. Devotion comes much later. It's only with the grace of the divine Lord will the devotion come. So it all begins with absolute faith, complete surrender, unconditional pure love, and exclusive devotion. For the exclusive devotion to happen, you first need to have faith and surrender. And then the love springs. That unconditional love has to be there. That will spring up. And then comes the exclusive devotion. And that can only be, that you will get only with His own grace. The Lord Himself blesses you with devotion. It is not an easy thing to achieve. People think bhakti means, oh, I'm just devoted. What is the kind of devotion? They will say, Guruji, I'm very devoted to you. I believe in you. And they will go and do all the rituals possible on this planet Earth. So are you really having a single pointed devotion? If Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna is your Ishta, then where is the other gods? All of them are coming. And I think in this chapter, He taught that too. So if you're going to go in any other god, He's going to actually, firm your faith in that deities. Then you can never know Krishna in your life at all. Please remember this. But when you come with that faith, when you come with that absolute surrender and that sincere love, He will confirm that faith in the divine master. That is Him alone, Lord Sri Krishna alone. But if you don't have, you're never going to experience. One very interesting thing that you need to know about Lord Sri Krishna. In all of this, He's taught a very important lesson, and that is about self-effort. He wants to see whether you are making that effort or not. Whether you are, putting that, that what is that you're giving from your end. He's not asking you for money. He's not asking you for anything. On the contrary, He's the one who can give you. You can't give Him anything. It's only when He blesses can you offer it to Him. But He's always going to test your danat, your ability to give, or your goodness at heart. That is something the Lord is always going to test. So in that case, He's also going to test how much you crave for Him. How much do you want Him? What is it you are actually going to say? This is something that divine Lord tests, and based on that is what you're going to, get that grace. Otherwise, you're not going to. One thing is very clear with Lord Sri Krishna. He will never give the grace to anybody before He can check your worthiness or the deservability. Only then does He give His grace. And please remember, even when the grace is there, that glimpse to know Him is just a fraction of a second. And what happens? When you get that tiny experience, what your mind does is, was it real or is it hallucination? That is what your mind will do. And that the moment the mind does, the doubt comes, and then you're veiled again. That is His Yoga Maya. So how can you know the Lord? Imagine. That is the power of His Yoga Maya. It is not so easy knowing the divine Lord. You have to show your part of the effort. And Lord Sri Krishna says, most important, it is all about self-effort. He is very clear about it. So it's not like other deities where you go, you get, and you're very happy and all sorts of things. But with Lord Sri Krishna, you really have to work a lot. You have to put a lot of effort. He's not so easily, going to come in your hands. But please remember, He's so easy to attain. Yet we are fools who don't put that little bit of effort. He just wants to see that effort. People sometimes come and think that my Guruji, when my Guruji says certain words or certain things, we have established our foundation, we are raising funds. So people talk in different ways. So they'll say, oh God, we have to get so much funding. I wish somebody contributes and all that. One thing you need to remember, when a divine master himself is setting up when he's setting on doing something, that is because of a higher purpose. There is a reason why we're established those things. There is a big divine mission, and that divine mission an ordinary human being can never understand. And please know this very important lesson, that those who have to give Him can only offer to Him when the grace of the divine Lord is there. If my Guruji wants to accept something from someone, then he gives that grace. Only then that person can offer to Him, not otherwise. So people think, oh, I am giving to Guruji. I know I'm offered this. I'm giving him this. I'm contributing this. You're nobody to give. Please remember, the one who gives is Lord Shri Krishna. He has given you that grace so that you can offer to him. There is nothing that we can give a divine master or Lord Shri Krishna. This is the reality and this is the truth which you need to understand. People think they can just give some dole outs to my Guruji. I'm sorry. Nobody can give anything to my master. My master owns this universe. He's the master of this universe. He is Lord Shri Krishna himself. He owns this entire universe. Lakshmi is at his feet. They are all ever waiting to serve. The first 8 principal gopis or the Ashta Lakshmis we say are the 8 important aspects. The grandeur, glory, wealth, everything is at his feet. They're always with him. But only if the Lord wishes alone can those things happen. But he's not going to show that. Why? I'll tell you. If he just makes things come easily, the world will also think that they should get it easily. So what is an example that he's going to set? He's going to teach till you don't put your self-effort, little bit of work you don't do, you're not going to get anything free. So Lord Shri Krishna, he's not going to give you freely. When you go to him, you have to walk his path, which means Lord Shri Krishna's way of life. What is Bhagavad Gita all about? It is Lord Shri Krishna's way of life. It is not like any other people, who go and beg, go to this temple, go to Balaji's temple, please ask, I will give you so much, give me so much. You will get, Sai Baba will go, you go and ask anything, you will get it. But please remember, all that comes with a baggage. But when the Lord blesses you, it is sinless, it is pure, and there is no karma accruing to it. And he'll ensure it's better than what you have even asked. Because our mind cannot think beyond our nose. It cannot think beyond our own lifespan. But how the Lord thinks for us is very different. Because he's the father of this universe. Remember, don't forget, Lord Shri Krishna is that father. My Krishna Ma He's the greatest mother that one can ever have. And the greatest guru. There's nobody like him on this planet Earth. So you need to have that faith, that absolute faith. Don't use your petty talks. Don't come and try to compare to somebody else and defend your inadequacies, your indiscipline. See, the Lord is not going to say anything. He's going to very nicely tell you. My Guruji is very compassionate. He understands how human beings are fallible in nature. He feels very sad, looking at their ignorance. But he tells in a very nice manner. But you know what? If you don't listen, you are going to face the repercussions. You're going to face the music for it. It's not him who's going to do anything. It is your own nature because of which you're going to suffer. The universe called Prakriti is listening. She's listening to everything. She's watching you. So be very careful. Why should you need the trouble? You're inviting the trouble. The day you go against my Guruji or my Lord Shri Krishna, you are in for trouble. Please remember, today the world is suffering because of this. He will forgive. My Guruji will always forgive. Lord Shri Krishna will forgive, My Krishna Guruji always forgives because Lord Shri Krishna is ever compassionate. He understands how stupid these human beings are. How stupid is Arjuna who's not listening, because of which we are in chapter 7 and we have 11 more chapters to go. Had he listened in one chapter itself, he would have just done his duty. But we don't. This is who we are. So what happens? The universe is listening. Mother Nature, Prakriti she is. She loves the Divine Lord so much. Please remember, everybody is born of Prakriti, but Prakriti is born from the Divine Lord him. She is Adi Parashakti. So don't challenge her. Why are you inviting trouble? When you disrespect the Divine Lord, when you do not listen to him, when you say things that is inappropriate, even if it is said knowingly, unknowingly, you are in for trouble. So be very careful when you are in front of a Divine Master. People just don't even put an effort to learn. You just can, you spend all your time talking rubbish to people. People just waste their time on calls, talking to their friends. And, somebody just said to me the other day, oh, is it a girl talk? Sorry, boss. Sorry, sir. I don't do girl talks. We only talk that which is relevant, either spiritual or our work related. We are not here to gossip and do frivolous talk. That is not allowed in our ashram. That is what Krishna Guruji teaches. The way of life, of how to live, the way of Lord Shri Krishna's life. And when you live that, you become that divine being yourself. Epitome of goodness, grandeur, glory, love. You become that love. And then we are not going to be bothered about what people say, don't say, how they react, not react. There's always going to be equanimity of mind. Lord Shri Krishna in chapter 2 revealed this truth about where can you find him. It is in that equanimity. That is where he exists. So when you achieve that equanimity of mind, you are in oneness with the Divine Lord. And then nothing that happens in the material world, good or bad, happy or sad, nothing impacts us. We are not tainted by it, neither we are touched by what happens in our world. We live like a lotus leaf which is untouched by the water. And that is the way how Lord Shri Krishna lives. You need to understand this truth. So don't come here and try to use your mind. The more you use your mind, the more you're getting into trouble. People are so bothered about just my children, my family. Dharma doesn't, just because you fall at my Guru's feet doesn't mean anything happens. Yeah, okay, he's going to say, good, keep it up. You're putting all your kachada, your sins at his feet. That's all you do. Yeah, poor sad, my Guruji. His job is to clean all this dirt. That is why they manifest. Because you people are ignorant. Who doesn't want to make an effort to learn? Why can't you learn? So people don't spend 15 minutes to listen to a satsang or open one page of any scripture which will keep you intact in a day to learn that goodness. So where is the sadhana there? The practice itself is not there. And you want to achieve Lord Shri Krishna? Not in this life or not any other life will he ever give you that grace to achieve him. First, put your effort. Self-effort is what my Lord Shri Krishna stands for. And he has very beautifully taught in the earlier chapters that we have discussed. So, these don't become this ignorant being. And that's what he says. Nobody will ever know me in reality. So, veiled by my Yoga Maya, my divine potency, I am not manifest to all. So, if you need his grace, show that bhakti first. The faith, the shraddha and the bhakti. Very important. Hence, these ignorant folk fail to recognize me, the birthless and imperishable supreme deity. That is, consider me as subject to birth and death. You are mere mortal. He is immortal being. Know that. Arjuna, I know all beings, past as well as present, nay, even those that are yet to come, but none devoid of faith and devotion knows me. Exactly what I've been teaching so far. How will anyone else will know him? You tell me. If you're devoid of faith, how can you experience God? See, most important thing you need to understand, which I always keep repeating, as is your faith, so are your experiences. Isn't that your bhakti, which will make that divine being come in front of you? How much bhakti do you have? How much faith do you have in? How much do you crave for him? People are so focused. Oh, it's my anniversary, my birthday, my daughter's birthday, my son's birthday, this birthday, that birthday. I have to do this, I have to do that. People all the nice talk, they're focused on that. But how much do you mean like that for the Divine Lord? What do you celebrate about the Lord? Just coming and going. People think just doing a puja in the way they have done some rituals, that is what is called being spiritual. The word spirituality is an abused word in today's day and age. The word spirituality means that I am the spirit, I am not the body. Spirit, that is the word spirit, which is something I need to unravel. I have to go inward. Spirituality is not religion. Everything, all religion lead to one alone, which is the ultimate goal, God. G-O-D, the capital G-O-D, God, is what it reaches. You can call him Allah, I can call him Krishna, somebody else call him Buddha, somebody else call him Jesus. But all these are one alone. So why is the discrimination then? I can go to a masjid, I can visit a gurudwara, I can visit a Buddhist temple, I can visit a monastery, I can go to anything, church or temple. Everything is one alone. But first, the temple is this body. So spirituality talks about not externalization, we have to go internal. So first you have to go internal to purify. Like what happens in the temple, how we clean the temple, we make the beautiful place. So that is more externalization. Why? Because a human being don't understand spirituality at all. So they are just taught certain practices. So they understand what it means to worship, what it means to pray, what it means to, have the faith in God. But when you walk the path of spirituality, you have to journey inwards. Use everything God given, the mind, senses, everything to go inwards, where you purify your mind, your heart, and then the divine being reveals itself to you. And then that is why it is called God realization or self-realization. So you have to make this body a temple first, where the divine being can, we say vas, where he can make it his abode. How will he make it his abode if there is all the, dirt, muck? Why will he even be there? He's not going to be there. And that is why in one of the verse which we will learn, where Lord Shri Krishna is very clear, I don't manifest in all. You can't experience him in all beings. He's not manifest in all. Please remember. Though I exist in all the beings, yet I am not there. So this is a very profound truth. See, this whole script, this Bhagavad Gita is codices. It's very, very difficult to decipher unless the Lord himself comes and explains to you. You can't understand this. So please remember, I don't have knowledge about Bhagavad Gita. It is the words of my Krishna Guruji's wisdom. When I open this scripture and I just read, the words flow from my mouth. I don't have knowledge about any of these things. That is the true knowledge. Nobody can teach Bhagavad Gita except Lord Shri Krishna himself. Please remember this. And what does he say? He says, Arjuna, I know all beings, past as well as present, nay, even those that are yet to come, but none devoid of faith and devotion knows me. So, but none devoid of faith and devotion knows me. What does it mean? If you don't have faith and devotion, most important, you can't know the Lord. Why will he reveal? But please remember, only the divine being. So we say Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. I keep repeating this every satsang of mine. The Guru is none other than the divine master himself, the divine Lord. His manifestation. So don't look at your Guru as some ordinary human being. He is the Lord Shri Krishna himself. So what does he say here? I know all the beings, past, present and the future too. So he knows what has happened, what is happening and what is going to happen. So why are you challenging him? Why are you behaving in a way which is going to jeopardy your own existence? Your chance of redemption, you lose it. People think all these, positions, designations, titles define who they are. This very beautiful movie I was watching yesterday. It's called Home. You must watch. It's a Malayalam movie. It's a South Indian regional language, one of the South Indian languages. It's from Kerala. Now in this movie, this is a very beautiful story which can hit everybody. It's about a middle class family. The parents, especially the father, is struggling really hard to keep up with the pace with his children, with his two sons, who are absolute tech savvy, who are mobile obsessed, rather smartphone obsessed, and they're always lost in the world of technology. They're lost in their phones. And for the father to communicate is very difficult. He's trying to take permission. Do you have 5 minutes? Can I talk to you for 5 minutes? People are lost in their phone. And the son has time to talk to his girlfriend or somebody video call, but doesn't have time to spare even 5 minutes to talk to his father. And this is a reality of our life today, because the elderly people or the older people are finding it really hard to catch up with the technological advancement that is happening. Today, I just carry my phone. I don't even have any physical money with me. I just take my phone and I can live my life. I make all my bill payments. Everything happens through just an app. But for older people, it's not possible. It's extremely difficult. And in that also it shows we behave in a very bad manner. You know why? We think our parents are not worthy enough because they don't have the titles, like they are not from Harvard, they have not done something great in their world, they have not achieved any significant, things in their career, which the children can talk about in their social circle. So they don't want their parents to come with them to certain, some events or wherever the friends are, you're going. You don't want to take your parents. Why? Because you think it's below your dignity, because my friends' father and mother, they're all highly qualified. Those are all superfluous. The glitz and glamour we fall for. So name, fame, designation doesn't make you who you are or anything worthy of yourself. Please remember, what counts is the goodness. That one kind act that you might have done in your life. You can be a very normal human being, but you don't have to behave meanly like this. This is the teaching of Lord Shri Krishna. He always says, have compassion, be forgiving, be kind, be your good self. This is the teaching of Lord Shri Krishna. But today people are not that. Meanness personified, highly, deceitful, have all sorts of ill feelings within them for every other people around. Why does this happen? Because we have never practiced these teachings. We don't even want to make an effort to learn. So if there is no knowledge, how are you going to live these lessons? Who is going to teach you? Are your parents are teaching you? No, they have not learned. Yeah, they will tell you to be good, they'll tell you to be nice, but are you even learning from them? No, you're not. And the other important aspect in our life is we're all driven by our inherent nature, which is so difficult to overcome. So we are constantly succumbing to our nature. So what happens to the knowledge, grace, everything, you actually kick it out with your own feet. You cut your own feet because of your mind. So don't get into this mind space and don't use your mind. When you have the divine grace by some good deeds that you have done in your past lives, you get that association with this Guru. And when you have that, don't waste it and don't ruin it, because that's the only way to redeem yourself. And don't destroy this, because knowing Lord Shri Krishna in reality, very few people get. So don't look at him as an ordinary human being because of your egoistic mind, arrogant mind. Throw that mind out, and only then can you be your good self. The more the mind comes, the more you become a crass human being. And even that goodness, the grace that comes to you, you on your own will cut your feet, because you'll throw that grace out, you'll kick it out. That is the human arrogance. So in this movie, the children, behave so badly. So the father is trying to, tell a story, one great, deed that he has done, an act of kindness. He had taken all the, risk in life to save one life. And he narrates this story to his son, who doesn't even buy, who thinks his father is saying some crap. That's not real. He's just saying something out in the air. And when the person's mother, whose child he saved, acknowledges, and she tries to find this boy all her life, and in one book, when the picture was drawn exactly what his father had narrated, that is when he believes. So this is the way we are, crass human being. We don't respect, we don't have that kindness, goodness. It's not about this glamorous world, title, name, fame, recognition, glitz, glamour. It has zero value if you don't have a good heart, if you don't know how to be kind and compassionate with our fellow beings. This is what Lord Shri Krishna teaches, and what I was describing is nothing but his Maya. You will be veiled by Yog Maya, and that Maya will cover your eyes. You can't see the divine Lord. So first, evolve the journey, go within, become the divine being. To become that, first begin with faith and devotion, and that will grow when you put your effort. The God, it's like the God puts more than what you give. If you give 10, he gives 100. So how much is your effort will equivalent to that much of, him giving you the same amount of, what you give is what you get, that many times. So if you give him that little devotion, he will make your devotion grow stronger. That is what he blesses you with. So who is stopping your progress? You yourself. If you fall prey into the world of Maya. So don't. So have the faith that whatever my Guru, my God does is for my good alone. And when you have this association in your life, do not lose it with your egoistic, arrogant mind, deceitful mind, which is going to feed you with too many things, because the mind always wants to win, and it wants you to take you away from the divine Lord. So this is the truth about Maya. So please understand the Lord's Maya and always pray to him, seek for his grace, so that you can know him when he appears in front of you. With that, we will stop here. and continue from verse 27 in our next satsang. Thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Gurunath Natha, Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.